County Extension Coordinator here in Edison County.
And welcome to another episode of our virtual garden club. So today we're going to be making some zucchini pancake hash brown type things.
So what we're going to call them is Savory Zucchini Pancakes.
Yes.
It's not going to be like your traditional pancake. We're not going to have any sugar or any of that kind of stuff in it. This is going to have onion, butter, some kind of like spices that are more savory spices, more like the salty kind of barbecue-y type. And we're going to have zucchini because we've got these extra large zucchinis that we pulled out of the gardens that we've been growing. And you don't want to just normally eat these because they're going to kind of have a more, I don't know, more of a woody texture to them just because they've gotten too large. So with this, Miss Courtney, what are we going to be using?
We're going to be using a spatula, a whisk, a skillet, our 4-H poultry judging, eggs, a bowl, some butter, onion, seasoning, of course the zucchini, and then various mixing tools, grating, and a knife. And
so if any of y'all have ever made like potato pancakes, or maybe some like hash browns with like the shredded potatoes before, it's going to be very similar to that, but we're going to make these so it's like a pancake where like with the shredded hash browns it kind of just goes all over the place. It's kind of a scatter. These we're going to have them clumped together. So what we're going to do, we've already got our aprons on, we're going to put our gloves on, and then we'll be right back.
okay, bye. Okay, so before using any fresh vegetables from your garden in a recipe, you want to always make sure that you pre-wash them beforehand because you want to get all the dirt, germs, or herbicides that could have been sprayed while they were growing off. So just rinse it under some lukewarm water, make sure you brush all the dirt off, and you're good to go.
Once we've shredded this, we're actually going to put it all in this bowl, and we're going to take the paper towel, we're going to squeeze it. So we went ahead and lined the bowl with some paper towels right now. And so what we're going to do, since we're not having to cheese grate these huge old zucchinis, we're going to cut them probably in about thirds, and then Miss Courtney can start cheese grating.
Okay, so you're going to want to put your zucchini in the center of these paper towels, kind of how we showed you in the bowl. And you just want to squeeze, get it over a sink or another bowl or something. You're going to squeeze as hard as you can. You're going to see some green liquid come out, and that is what you're trying to accomplish. You want to get as much of that water out of the zucchini as possible so that your recipe is not very watery, okay? So just keep doing that until you're not getting any more liquid coming out. And sometimes if you have to, you can wring it a second time, let it sit for a second, and then squeeze it out again. Okay, everybody, so we have gotten our zucchini drained. We have squeezed it out. We got it all ready to go. And now we are ready to start making our savory
Zucchini pancakes.
So
So like we said, these are not going to be sweet pancakes. They're going to be more on like the salty, savory side. So with this, we don't want it to be runny at all. We want to be able to make and form those pancakes. So what we're going to start with, and this is not a recipe that is already preset. We are making this up as we go, which Miss Hailey loves doing. Miss Courtney absolutely hates doing. That's okay. We did the recipe one, now we're doing the other one.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is we're going to mix all of this in this big bowl. What I'm going to have Miss Courtney do first is take 2 of the eggs that we've got and mix them in this small little bowl in front of her, while I'm going to do 2 cups of zucchini. So I've got this little measuring cup. I'm going to fill it up twice and put it in, or once, because it is a 2-cup one. And we're going to put it in this big bowl, and then we'll work with it from there. So we'll be right back while we start to do those little things.
Okay.
Okay, so we have 2 cups of zucchini in here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 cup of this onion that we had chopped. We've got 1 cup of onion.
Ready for the egg?
Not yet. Okay. So now what we're gonna have Miss Courtney do is she is going to put 1.5 cups of cheese in here, and then we're gonna add it to this bowl.
I'm gonna change out my gloves. Be right back. Okay. Ready for the cheese. How much butter?
So we're gonna do 1.5 cups of the cheese. We're gonna have Miss Courtney mix it into this cup, and then we're gonna put it in this bowl.
Get none of it in the cup?
And so for this, we're just using the sharp cheddar cheese.
Okay, so I've got my cheese measured out, and I'm gonna dump it in here.
And then now we are gonna measure out 1 teaspoon of whatever seasoning you want. We are using this all-purpose barbecue seasoning. And we're gonna measure 1 teaspoon out. And now what we're gonna do is Miss Hailey's gonna be mixing all this stuff together. Miss Courtney's gonna gradually mix in this or pour in the egg. So let's see if we can form it into a shape. So what we're wanting to do is kind of make it like a patty. And then from here, what we'll do is we'll actually, and you can see, I mean, you can kind of mold it into a shape. It's not going to be a perfect circle by any means. And we're just going to kind of fry them in the skillet. And so this is going to be a good consistency.
Okay.
Do you think, Miss Courtney?
Yes, I do. Looks good.
So what we're going to do is we are going to take this mixture, we're going to go over to the stove, and then we're going to film ourselves making these and putting them into the skillet. And we'll talk a little bit more when we get over there. So we'll see you in a second.
Okay.
Bye! Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to turn on our stove top. So we're going to use this bottom burner, so we want to make sure to turn the correct one. And we are going to turn it to 5. And what we're going to do first before we start putting our little pancakes in there is we're going to use butter. We've got 3 tablespoons worth of butter. And we're going to go ahead and melt this in the skillet, which is going to take a minute. Okay, so we want to make sure to coat the bottom of this with butter because we don't want it to stick anywhere. Okay, so now we've got our little pancake, and so what we're going to do is we are going to set it in the skillet. And we're going to make a couple of these, and we're just going to let them fry up.
Okay, so you can see how it's starting to kind of change around the edge and it's starting to look more like a cooked egg. That's what you want to see. So they're almost ready to flip over.
Okay, so now we're going to pull these out and we're going to put them on this little plate and let them sit down and cool, and then we'll try them. So they're going to be crispier on the outside and they're going to kind of be gooier on the inside because it's full of that zucchini, which has a little bit more liquid to it, the cheese, the egg, all that kind of good stuff. right, so we've got our 4 little pancakes on there. They're not super pretty, I mean, and they're not burnt. I know they look a little dark, but like I said, it's because the caramelizing of the cheese and the egg and all that mixed together. So we'll have these cool, and then we'll give them a try and see what we think. Okay.